How do you flood a ball Earth that's spinning like a tennis ball? Have you ever seen a wet tennis ball and you throw it and all of the water comes off of it as it's spinning? Well, they say the reason that the water doesn't leave the Earth is because of gravity. But if gravity is strong enough to hold in trillions of tons of water to the Earth, but a balloon can fly, a bird can leave the Earth at any point, you don't have to feel like you're being pulled down at every second, but trillions of tons of water are held to the Earth. Does that make any sense? What actually is happening is it's called density. So anything that is more dense than air will sink in air. Anything that's more dense in water will sink in water. Why is gravity stopping you from, let's say, you know how Isaac Newton, got hit on the head with an apple? That was because the apple was more dense than the air. And he got hit. If he was in water, that apple would have stopped right on the water. Why is the apple not going through the water if it's gravity pulling it down to the center? Because it's not more dense than the water. It's just a simple matter of density. They try and make gravity seem like the all-encompassing thing. And that's why they say because of gravity, we can have multiple universes. Because of gravity, we can have all these things happening. Why is it that there's no observable form of gravity on Earth? There is no object massive enough to have other objects come cling to it in the way that the sun does. They say that the sun is so heavy that the Earth and the moon and all the planets circle around it. But if that is the case, why is that not observable anywhere on the planet? You cannot see that case anywhere. And if the gravity of the moon is strong enough to bring the tides in and out, why would that ever happen if the moon has less mass than the Earth? Shouldn't the thing that has more mass be bringing the gravity to it, not the thing that has less mass bringing the gravity towards its way? It doesn't make any sense. Their logic doesn't make any sense. And the pictures that you see of space, the pictures that you see of all these planets and all these galaxies, NASA has admitted that they're all fake. They're CGI. And they say they have to be CGI because they want you to believe a lie. And let me just tell you, satellites have got to be the stupidest thing. Have you ever seen a satellite? Doesn't it just look like R2-D2? Like they're messing with you. They're messing with you. They say the satellites spin around the Earth in the thermosphere. The thermosphere is 2,500 degrees Celsius according to their science. And the satellites are made of titanium. It burns at 1,600 degrees. It melts. They lie to you. They just mess with your mind. They say it's made of gold. Gold has an even lower melting point, 1,200 degrees. It's like embarrassing, some of the things that they're willing to do. And I'm going to show you some pictures from NASA of how they just completely and blatantly lie to our face. But they make you to believe that anybody that tells you differently is a crazy person. These are actual depictions from NASA of what the Earth has looked like over the years. These are literally from NASA, released to the public. Look in 1975. See that big massive thing of clouds, but then you can see a little bit of continent under it? Look at 1997. You see the size all the way to the right. You see the size of that continent? 1997, the size. But then look at 2012. Right here, right in the third row over in the bottom. Look how big that continent got. The Earth's the same size, but that continent grew a lot, didn't it? It grew a lot over the course of the years, right? But then look at 2002, a completely new size. You have right here. This is where the United States would be. And then 2015, you can't even really see a continent. And then 2007, you're almost able to see every continent in the one picture. So their pictures are changing from year to year. They're never the same. They never look the same. They never match along the Earth doesn't look the same. Look at the colors don't match. The sizes never match. The Earth is always the same size, but everything in it is just a mess. Because God's allowing them to just mess up, do strong delusion. Everybody just believes it. They flat out just believe it.
Last week, scientists at NASA released this. The shot is compiled from data from NASA's VEERS instrument, which orbits the Earth about every 100 minutes, taking measurements of light coming off the planet. That can be translated into ribbons of imagery like this, and then into one of these. And this is just the latest in NASA's Earth from Space album, which may be one of the most mind-expanding collections of images in human history. Then in 2002, Blue Marble 2.0. NASA's Rob Simon made this. Simon's job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is, a composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
So we actually had to take clouds out.
They stashed the clouds for later, went onto the ocean. That came from an instrument that measures phytoplankton in the sea.
Where it was low, I colored it dark blue because they're low mostly in mid-oceans. And then where it's a little bit higher, it was like a little bit brighter green.
Then add the clouds back in.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit.
So some of those are painted on.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then
There was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command-Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space. But I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Many lines of evidence to show that Earth is round, including Apollo photos of the round Earth.
And of course, we've taken all these amazing pictures from space. They're so beautiful, all those pictures of the Earth. There are so many proofs that the Earth is round, it's difficult to know where to start. And it's not okay to think that the Earth is flat. This is not a viable argument. I have friends who have been on the International Space Station. They have orbited the Earth once every 90 minutes. You know, I have had personal experience with people that have been up in space and can see with their own eyes that the Earth is round. And of course, we've taken all these amazing pictures from space. They're so beautiful, all those pictures of the Earth.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.